Hey everyone. So imagine for a second your car's GPS only told you where you were a minute ago. Pretty useless, right? Well, for the longest time, that's kind of how we dealt with data. But that's all changing. Today, we're jumping into the world of real-time data streaming, where we process info the instant it happens. And trust me, it's changing absolutely everything. I mean, really think about that. In the world of finance, if you catch a fraudulent transaction an hour late, you failed. A minute late, you still failed. The entire game is won or lost in those few milliseconds between a credit card swipe and the approved message. So you see, the future isn't just about being fast anymore. It's about being instant. And this isn't just some small upgrade. It's a whole new way of thinking. For decades, we were stuck with batch processing. You'd collect a ton of data, wait, and then finally analyze it. It was like reading a history book. Stream processing, on the other hand, is like a live news feed. It lets you react to things as they're happening, not hours or days later. So how in the world do you build a system that can handle this non-stop flood of information without just falling over? Well, it all starts with getting a handle on a few core building blocks. Let's dive right in. So at its heart, a stream is basically like a never-ending conveyor belt. Your data points are the little packages on the belt, and they just keep on coming, one after another, in a very specific order. That's really the core idea of a data stream, this continuous, unstoppable flow. But of course, one single conveyor belt can only move so fast, right? If you really want to scale things up, you need more belts running side by side. In the data streaming world, we call these parallel belts shards. The more shards you have, the more data you can process all at once. It's really the secret sauce to handling massive, massive volume. Okay, but how does a piece of data know which conveyor belt to jump onto? Well, that's where the partition key comes in. It's just a simple label that gets attached to each piece of data. Think of a user ID or a sensor ID. The system uses this key to send that data to a specific shard. This makes sure all the related stuff stays together and in the right order. It's like the traffic cop for your data superhighway. And this right here shows you just how crucial that little traffic cop is. I mean, look at this. On the left, that's what happens when you get it wrong. If you just slap the same label on everything, it's like forcing every single car in a major city down one tiny one-lane road. You get gridlock, a hot shard. But on the right, now we're talking. But using something unique for each user, you're opening up all the lanes. The data just flows. It's literally the difference between a complete standstill and a wide open highway. Okay, so we've got our building blocks. But how do we actually know if our stream is healthy and doing its job? It turns out some of the most common ways we measure performance can be super misleading, dangerously so. So the first thing everyone always looks at is latency. Basically, how long it takes for one piece of data to get from point A, where it's created, to point B, where you get a result. Sounds simple enough, right? But there's a sneaky little detail here that can totally trip you up if you're not paying attention. See, not all latency is created equal. You've got processing time latency, which is just how fast your system crunches the numbers once the data finally gets to it. But then there's event time latency. This one measures the time from when the event actually happened in the real world. That includes all the time it might have spent just sitting around, stuck in a queue. One is what your system sees, the other is what your user actually feels. Okay, and this is where things get really dangerous. Your dashboard might be all green, right? Showing amazing, super low processing latency. It looks like your engine is just humming along perfectly. But what you can't see, what the metric is hiding, is the massive, miles-long traffic jam that's piling up behind you. This is something called the coordinated omission problem. You're measuring the speed of your engine, sure, but you're completely ignoring the length of the traffic jam. So your numbers look great, but in reality, your users are stuck and they're having a horrible time. And this leads us to a way better, much more honest metric: sustainable throughput. Look, this isn't about how fast your system can go for a few seconds. It's about the fastest speed it can handle all day long without that user-facing traffic jam getting worse and worse. It's the difference between a drag racer that's fast for a quarter mile and a marathon runner who can keep a solid pace for hours. And for a healthy system, you absolutely need that marathon runner. All right, so we've been talking a lot about how things are supposed to work, but what happens when things go wrong? When the stream, when it fights back? Because in the real world, things break, and you have got to be ready for it. Sooner or later, if you work with this stuff, you are absolutely going to see this error: provisioned throughput exceeded exception. It's basically the system just throwing its hands up in the air and screaming, "Whoa, stop, I'm totally overwhelmed. I can't take any more data." So this throttling thing, it usually boils down to one of three things. A sudden flood of traffic, you just don't have enough shards for the load, or, surprise, surprise, that hot shard problem from a bad partition key. The fixes are pretty straightforward though. You need to make your app smart enough to back off and try again later, and on the system side, you either add more shards, or, yep, you guessed it, you go fix your partition key strategy. And then there's this nasty little problem called the poison pill. This is a single, messed up piece of data that your application just can't process. It chokes on it. And because streams have to process things in order within a shard, this one bad record is like a multi-car pileup. It brings that entire lane of traffic to a dead stop, and all the perfectly good data behind it is just stuck. And that connects directly back to that hot shard issue, or what academics call data skew. This quote from a performance study says it all. If you let all your data rush to one single spot, your entire, giant, distributed system is suddenly only as fast as a single computer. It's a huge waste of money, and it just completely defeats the whole purpose of building a big, scalable system in the first place. So with all these potential pitfalls, what are the best tools for the job? Well, let's take a look at a performance showdown between three of the biggest open source players out there: Flink, Storm, and Spark. First up, raw, sustainable speed. And wow, Flink is it's a beast. On the test cluster, it was hammering through 1.2 million events every single second. And get this, the study said Flink wasn't even sweating. The network itself became the bottleneck before Flink did. And what about how quickly it responds, the latency? Well, it's the same story. Flink is just in a league of its own here. An average latency of 0.2 seconds is over 10 times faster than the others in this particular test. So yeah, for sheer raw power, Flink is clearly the king of the hill. So does that mean you should always just choose Flink? Well, not so fast. While Flink is the speed demon, that same research found that Spark is way better at handling those tricky hot shards. Spark's latency might be a bit higher on average, but it's much more stable and predictable when your data is all lopsided. It's a classic trade-off, really. Do you want the fastest car on a perfect racetrack, or the one that's most reliable in bumper-to-bumper traffic? All right, we have covered a ton of ground here, from the basic nuts and bolts to what happens when it all goes wrong. So what are the big things you need to walk away with? Let's boil it all down to a few practical rules for taming that data firehose. Okay, rule number 1, use partition keys that have lots of unique values, like user IDs, to spread your data out. Rule 2, measure what actually matters to your users. Monitor that event time latency. Rule 3, always plan for things to break. Make your apps handle throttling gracefully and have a strategy for dealing with poison pills. And finally, number 4, be smart with your data. Don't pay to keep data in the super fast, expensive stream any longer than you have to. Archive it to cheaper storage when you're done with it. Look, in the world we live in now, everything is generating a stream of data. Every tap on your phone, every click of a mouse, every sensor out in the world. The companies that are going to win in the future are the ones who can grab this insane flood of information and turn it into real-time action. So the real question isn't if you're going to have to deal with this, it's are you going to be ready when you do?